podcast party. Descent into Avernus.
My name is Renascence. My friends and I have uncovered an infernal conspiracy that threatens the city of Baldur's Gate. Somehow, the Van Thampa family is involved in a plot that caused the nearby city of Elturel to be dragged into hell. Same thing could happen here if we don't stop it. My brother Thomas has been obsessed with devils and demons and angels since we was kids. I visited him at Cliffgate Hospital, and he warned me that the horrors he foresaw years ago are about to come true. We've reported what we could to the authorities, but I don't think they're going to be much help. It's up to us to find out what's really going on.
So, Hylan, we're going to switch to your perspective now. It's about midday or maybe thereafter. I think you've by now received your new accoutrement. You spent the gold on something, I assume, correct?
Yes, I purchased some studded leather armor.
Oh, okay, cool. Excellent. You did have to make your way to the outer city to do it. So luckily, you were able to go by means of a way of travel that actually brought you not through Basilisk Gate, but actually under it. You being part of the criminal faction, or, well, I guess criminal is too harsh a term, you are aware of a set of warrens that stretch underneath Baldur's Gate, a web of tunnels that people of your profession are able to use to get from place to place, whether it's from the inner city to the outer city, or from the outer city to the upper city, or thereabouts without being seen. Of course, the warrens themselves are rife with members of the criminal element. There are gangs of individuals down there. No monsters per se, or any kind of awful, horrible things that grow in the dark and reach out with their awful tentacly arms. But you know, it's not necessarily safe unless you know people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that being said, you're able to get to the outer city through these tunnels, taking the right pathways and not going into the ones that are perhaps under the ownership of certain criminal elements or criminal factions that you are not necessarily in league with, but you are able to get to the outer city and then come up on the other side and are able to purchase this studded leather armor.
Excellent.
Okay. With your new suit of studded leather armor underneath your clothing, which feels a little bit bulkier than it was before, but it certainly provides you a greater level of protection, you are about to wind your way back into the alleyway that would lead you back into the warrens that would lead you back under Baldur's Gate to get back to the lower city streets that would bring you to the Elfsong Tavern and reconvene with your compatriots and friends, when a rather bedraggled-looking dwarf with a very long white beard runs up to you. He's got one eye wide open and the other eye sort of squinted shut, and he's got white beard that's in tangles, and his hair is sort of combed over the top of his head, and he has this enormous set of ears. For a second, you think he might be a gnome, but he's way too big to be a gnome. And he looks at you, and with crooked and somewhat missing teeth, says to you, You!
Friend, what's your hurry? It's best not to run up to people.
No, this is you! I think it's you! Is this you? And he takes from his rather natty-looking green robe something that looks like a piece of paper, but it looks sort of curled and maybe even stiffer than a piece of paper, and shoves it in your face and says, I think this is you. Is this you? This is you.
Take it easy.
And on this, whatever the heck it is, you sort of look at it and you realize for a second that it's a piece of bark. Like birch bark, almost.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, this is you. Yes. And he looks down at it, and he looks up at your face, he looks down at it, he looks up at your face. Yes, this is, you must come with me to the drawing tree.
Could I look at that, please?
Certainly here. And he just hands it to you.
Okay, I look at it.
It is a striking likeness of you.
Okay. Where did you say you were from?
The drawing tree. My name is Torimesh.
Where did you get this?
Well, from the drawing tree, of course.
Of course.
It must speak to you.
A tree must speak to me?
Yes, of course. The drawing tree must speak to you. That is why you are on this.
Okay, how far away is this drawing tree?
Well, Inside Park, of course.
Okay, I know where that is.
You do know where Inside Park is. Inside Park is a rather small piece of land. It's been around for a very long time, actually. Make a history check.
That's a 10.
Okay, maybe you don't know as much as you probably should, but then again, you're not into parks. Why would you go to a park if you could just,
And I could be in a tunnel, yeah.
You know that Inside Park is a plot of land that is inside the lower city. And beyond that, you know that the only thing that is inside this one plot of land that's been fenced off from the rest of the massive cosmopolitan area of Baldur's Gate is a single tree. That's all you know. You've never actually been inside Park,
Okay.
but that's it.
Okay, I'm going to crouch down a little bit. And I'm going to say, friend, I just want you to know if this is some sort of trap, it's going to go poorly for you.
Oh, no. This is no trap. Why would I make a trap like this? This is the will of the tree.
Sure. Okay, I'll go with you to this tree.
Don't you know anything about the tree? You seem unconvinced.
I know that there is a tree.
Where are you?
Can you tell me something more about the tree?
Well, the drawing tree. I planted it so many years ago, but it's a very special tree. Don't tell me you've never heard of the drawing tree.
I've been very busy, so.
Oh, well. Nevertheless, this is you.
It is, yeah. All right, let's go.
Very well, come.
And he ushers you into a set of alleyways that bring you from the outer city to a strange portion of the wall, just a couple hundred meters to the northwest of the Basilisk Gate. And he moves towards the wall and says, through here. And he brings you to a point in the wall, and it looks like solid stone. And he says, now, hold on, think about it. Oh, yes. And he puts his hand on the stone, and the stone actually deforms and shifts and warps. There we go. And you see on the other side of the wall another alleyway. You have literally seen a hole made through the entire wall of Baldur's Gate to the lower city side.
How did you do that? That's incredible.
Magic, of course. Don't you know magic? Come on, you can't be from that far away.
I've never seen this, I can tell you that.
It's a special magic that we druids have to change the shape of natural things. Of course, this damn wall,
And he hits it on the way through.
of course, not something I prefer to have, but I guess we all have to have something to protect us from the outside world, don't we?
That's a neat trick.
Well, come on, don't stand there gulping.
Yeah, I go through.
Okay, you walk through to the other side, and as you walk through, the stone reforms and the wall is whole again.
I'm just keeping an eye out for ambushes.
Okay, make a perception check.
16.
Okay, I mean, you don't notice anybody sort of tailing you, and this individual, this dwarf named Torimesh, doesn't say anything to you as he leads you through the alleyways into some of the main thoroughfares, and then south to a portion of the city that I don't think you've ever actually spent a lot of time in, and then opens a gate to this perhaps mile or 2 mile wide plot of land that is just green with freshly cut grass.
Beautiful.
Damn straight it is. Don't work my tail off for it to look like crap.
And then he steps inside.
I follow.
Inside this park is this massive tree. And you see that it has white bark and very dark red leaves. And it's a very large tree. It's maybe 20 to 30 feet tall, actually.
Wow, you planted this?
Oh, yeah, planted it a long time ago.
Beautiful.
But that's not what's important right now. Never mind that. The drawing tree clearly wants you.
am I just supposed to start speaking with this tree?
If you stand in front of it, the drawing tree will reveal all. Please, I don't know, stand there.
And he points to a space in front of the drawing tree.
All right, go stand there.
Okay. He closes his eyes, and a minute passes. And then he opens his eyes and he says,
What the hell is happening? She's right there.
and he turns to the tree as if talking to it.
What's going on? She's standing right there. Do something.
Oh, I see.
And he starts looking up and down the tree, like at the bark.
Well, this is a very beautiful tree that you've tended to. I wish you the best of luck. Perhaps.
No! Don't go anywhere. It's clearly. Wait. There's clearly a problem. Hold on for 1 second. Let me commune with the tree. Maybe it will let me know what has to be done.
And he puts his hands on the tree's bark, and he closes his eyes, and he starts muttering strange words that you do not understand. Please roll a d6.
That's a 2.
Okay. Tormesh opens his eyes and says,
Oh, no. That can't be. Oh, my poor baby.
and he puts his white beard and his cheek on the drawing tree and sort of rubs it up and down as if sort of consoling a sick child. And he says,
That's awful. You are sick. Oh, my goodness. You are the one who can save the tree. Of course. Why else would he have shown me your face?
I'm sorry, but I don't really know anything about trees. It's not really my area of expertise.
No. Of course, that's mine. But that has nothing to do with it. It's you who must save the drawing tree.
How?
Most trees like this, if they fall sick or have problems, they require medicine, just like other living things. Either that or magical healing. Are you proficient in magical healing of this kind?
I have something that I can do.
Well, don't just stand there to do it.
Okay. I will look at him askance, but that drawing does look a lot like me. So he seems very nice. I'll go up to the tree and I'll place my hand on it, and I will just release a small amount of healing energy into the tree.
as soon as you place your hands on this tree, Hylan, the headache, it shocks you how quickly it comes. You receive this massive pain in your head. It staggers you. You sort of fall to your knees. Your hands are still on the tree, and your eyes shut instinctively. The pain is intense. Tormesh sort of stands, his hand on his face.
Oh my goodness! What's going on?
In your mind, Hylan, you see something that you're not sure what it means, but the pain certainly gives you the idea that this is not some kind of a pleasant dream or vision. It's a nightmare. You see the sky has turned to ash. There is, instead of a pleasant blue color over you, there is now only red and gray and black. The moon, which you are so used to seeing, or the sun, it is missing. And you see around you a vast wasteland of rock and sand and bones everywhere.
No.
The wind picks up and blows this chalky dust into your face, and you see that there is some awful creature beyond your worst nightmares standing there. It has enormous bat-like wings with hooked tips, blacker than black eyes, fangs the size of your fingers, and a bat-like nose, green skin, and it wears iron armor, and it has this giant two-handed meat cleaver, and it opens its mouth ringed with this awful red fluid all over it, and it screeches your name.
No.
And that's when your eyes reopen. The pain is gone.
What was that?
What was what?
It was the most horrible thing I've ever seen.
What happened?
I just saw a wasteland of ash and fire. There was this thing, a demon or a devil. It had huge teeth and claws, and it screamed my name.
Did it look like this?
And he points at the drawing tree, and stained in the bark, there is a strip. It looks like it's peeling off the tree. And as he points at it, it peels off more and separates from the tree and gently falls to the ground.
I go and pick it up.
It is a depiction, very, very vivid depiction of this creature that you saw in your vision with this massive meat cleaver-like sword facing off against, well, it's you, but somehow different. You look and you see that you are standing there with your short swords, ready to perhaps defend yourself against this awful, nightmarish-like creature. But what's weird is that you have things coming out of your back. You have these majestic wings that are just arching out from your back, as if you're ready to take flight.
This is exactly what that creature looked like, but I've never been anywhere with this creature. I don't have wings.
I have no way to explain it. The drawing tree hasn't ever been wrong before.
I don't understand what you want from me.
It's not what I want from you. It's what the tree wants. The tree clearly wanted you to heal it, and in return, well, I guess it gave you this piece of foresight? I don't know.
Well, thank you.
No, thank you.
Is there anything else you need me to help you with?
Dearie, I think I should probably be asking you that.
Seems like you don't understand this any more than I do.
Sorry to say I don't.
I have some things to attend to. Can I find you here if I need you?
Well, I don't really live anywhere else.
And he points to a corner of the park, and you see that there is a little hut that's backed up against the outcropping of rock that abuts against a neighboring building.
Can I ask you something before I go?
Sure.
I've been having these headaches. I first had it, I was fighting a terrible group of monsters. I won't go into it. It's never happened to me before. It happened while I was fighting, and it scared me because I need to be able to have a clear mind when I'm fighting and my friends were in danger. It happened again. It seems to be happening more often, and when I touched this tree, it happened again, and it was the worst I've ever felt. Do you know what this is? Can you? I don't know why I'm asking you. I just, you seem to...
I understand, dearie. We all reach out to those that we can in times of confusion or pain, as the tree did. And I find myself a little bit, I don't know what to say. I can't say that I'm an expert in magical problems of the mind, if that's what it is, these headaches, as you call them. But if I were you, I would certainly find as much of an expert on magic that I would be able to if I were you. My magic comes from nature, and whatever the tree gave to you in terms of information, well, it seems to be coming through in the way that you present your magic. I really hope it doesn't cause you a great deal of pain in the future, but...
Well, thank you. Thank you for your help. Do you mind if I stay here for a little while?
Oh, please, by all means. Just something about solitude. I've found that the quiet is often my friend.
I'm just going to kneel on the grass, sort of like I'm sitting on my calves, and I'm a little shaken. So I'm going to say a prayer to Bahamut. Bahamut, God of justice and light, scales of platinum, eyes of piercing blue, and heart of mercy and might. May I be filled with your strength and be a force of justice for the deserving, and punishment for the wicked. Please help me. And then I listen to the birds for a little bit, and then I get up and I try to find my way back to my friends.
Toramesh watches you go. As you leave the park, gives you a one-handed wave. One of the birds flits down from the drawing tree onto Toramesh's shoulder, tweets. Toramesh says, "Yes, I know. I'm sorry to see her go too. But she's a good girl. I'm sure she knows what she's doing. After all, she just saved your home." And then he turns back to the drawing tree, and his face becomes worried and lined with a tinge of confusion as a second piece of bark begins to unravel from it.
Hi, everybody. The show will be back in just a minute for the second half. We hope you're enjoying Podcast Party, Descent into Avernus, an actual play podcast from Cast Party. We're a group of D&D fans who happen to be professional actors, directors, artists, producers, and friends. We're also professional dungeon masters, and we're available to hire for special occasions, parties, corporate team-building events, or any time you need an adventure. Right now, we're running online games only. When we can, we host site-specific live D&D adventure experiences at locations in and around New York City. We also offer free online adventures at least once a month. Coming up in June, July, and August, we'll be offering monthly free adventures with Dungeon Masters Rachel Savicki, Joe Rasso, and Sean Hendrickson. These free games fill up quickly, so if you'd like to grab a spot, you should join our email list or our Discord server. Links to both can be found at cast-party.com. You can also check out the free bonus audio content, including last month's chat, where we talked about what makes a good Dungeon Master and what makes a good player. On our website, you can find original artwork of our characters, and we're posting maps, pics, and other background material to give you some visuals to go along with the story. Our merch store features all the official Cast Party apparel and accessories that the cool kids are wearing. See, when everybody else reads that line of copy, they feel awkward and self-conscious, whereas I have no fucking problem whatsoever. On that merch store, you're going to find all the official Cast Party apparel and accessories that the cool kids, like myself, are wearing. Check us out at cast-party.com and follow us on Facebook at Cast Party D&D, Twitter at Cast Party 2, and Instagram at cast_party. If you enjoy Podcast Party, Descent into Avernus, please follow the show, rate us, leave us a review. We're doing this as a labor of love, and it really helps us a lot. We'd love to hear from you. Message us on social media, or email us at info@cast-party.com. Thanks very much for listening, and now, back to our adventure in Baldur's Gate.
Ofelia, you make your way through the lower city after having obtained several items that you think will potentially be useful to you in your pretty well-formed party. You guys have already made plans to meet at the Elfsong Tavern. What exactly are you wanting to do now that you're walking amidst the hustle and bustle of the lower city in the mid-afternoon of Baldur's Gate?
Ofelia would like to visit an old haunt of hers called the Blade and Stars.
Okay.
It's a place that's very special to her, and she'll bring her violin with her.
Okay. This inn, the Blade and Stars, is a well-known establishment within the lower city. It has a sign above the lintel which looks like a wooden shield which is glowing with enchanted magic. The black shield is in massive contrast to the white and blue glowing aura around it. It also has a curved silver saber gripped by a pale arm, which stands next to it on the sign. And as you sort of stare at it, you could swear that these glimmering motes of blue and white luminescence are floating off the sign. You didn't remember it doing that the last time.
That's strange. Ofelia will set up her violin just outside the front door of the tavern, and she'll begin to play a song.
Okay, what song are you playing?
I'm going to sing it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, she begins to play a song that's very familiar to her, and it goes like this. Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall we see no enemy but winter and rough weather. And her voice breaks at the end. She takes a minute, closes her eyes.
The first two verses that you sing, the people around you glance in your direction. And as this music floats out of your violin, it almost seems like the hustle and bustle, the noise that is prevalent through every single street within Baldur's Gate, it almost seems to stop. And the wind seems to just halt. And there's this utter silence as everyone turns to look at you. And then your voice cracks, and one little boy turns to his mommy and says, "Mommy, I wanted to keep playing. What's wrong?" The woman looks down at her child and says, "I'm sure she'll start again soon. I think she's just nervous seeing so many people around us." The little boy looks up at you, Ofelia, and says, "Lady, you play very well.
Oh, thank you.
Don't be nervous."
Thank you. I don't feel nervous anymore," she says.
"Can you play more?"
She hesitates for a moment. She says, "Yeah, I will play a different song." And she picks up her violin once again. She starts to play a much sadder song. He is dead and gone, lady. He is dead and gone. At his head a grass-green turf. At his heels a stone. She stops. She's overcome with emotion.
The little boy looks up at his mother and says, "Mommy, I didn't like that song very much. She said he's dead. I don't like that song." And the mother sort of takes her son and says, let's go. She's very sad about something. Let's go." And Ofelia, I think at this point, we're going to take a step back to a point in your life where things were different. That point in time in your life happened to be in this particular inn, the Blade and Stars. What are you doing there?
Ofelia is sitting at the bar with a mug of ale in front of her, and next to her is a dwarven man with red hair and a red beard. The beard, you can tell he's taken great care to braid, although the strings he's used to tie up his beard and the clothes he's wearing are a bit shabby. He has kind eyes and weathered face, but a bright smile. And his name is Azor Woldarmer. They are laughing and drinking together.
Azor looks at you across the table and says, "Nah, I did not say that exactly the way you put it. No, go ahead, please, by all means. You recount to me exactly what you think that is I said."
It certainly sounded to me like you were being a bit rude about that man's weight.
Rude, okay. Sure. Please, impart me with your divine bardly knowledge about rudeness.
Well, I would have said the gentleman walks like a... Oh, you're right. What can I say?
No, please, inspire me with your words.
She laughs and she sort of falls back on her chair and catches herself. She's pretty drunk. The man lumbers like a great bear. See, I made it poetic.
Lumbers like a great bear.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give that one like a 4 out of 10, darling. I'm sorry, I'm not feeling it.
I suppose it's not my best work.
It's all right, we'll workshop it. I don't know. I said what I mean, and I mean what I say when I said the man's a pig. But, you know, whatever. He didn't have to punch me right in the nose. I mean, it is the largest thing on my face, but... Oh, Ophelia, what am I going to do with you?
I don't know what to do with myself, Azor, she says, most of the time.
Well, what kind of designs do you have? You've been here in, I don't know, a couple months. How do you like your fair city?
I suppose it's as good a city as any. It's got a vibrant crowd of people, and everyone seems to like my music. So I guess I'll stay and I'll
Well,
play.
not that
maybe.
guy. He did not like your music very
Okay,
well. That's
well,
why I
he
stood up
did
to him
not.
and told him he was a fucking pig. He was saying some rather nasty things to you, I gotta be honest.
He doesn't represent the majority of the people here, and it's
Oh, you are so naive, darling. This place is full of rotten scoundrels, I'll be honest.
well, maybe her face falls a bit. Maybe I'm a rotten scoundrel too. I don't know.
Why are you a rotten scoundrel? I've met a lot of people. The lower city's full of people of that ilk, and I'll be honest, the upper city's not lacking in that department, even though they may be high and mighty and think they know, and what they know is what goes. They're full of, what did you say it was? They're full of rotten ichor? I like that lyric.
Oh, I guess I did say that.
Yeah.
Well, they are so full of themselves. But you don't know me very well, Azor, she says.
Well, I'd like to. I mean, he sort of like turns a brighter shade of red a little bit and sticks his face into his mug, two-handing it up to his face. I mean, I'm not an ugly mug. Well, not the one to look at it all the time, but it's.
Azor, I think you're very handsome. It's just
It's just what?
Well, I've made some mistakes, Azor, in my life. I don't think that I'm the person that you think that I am. I've hurt some people. I've hurt a lot of people. I didn't mean to, but I think I'm a dangerous person. And I'm afraid that if you spend more time with me, I could hurt you too.
Listen, darling, I've been through my own romantic travails. I've lived 172 years and had my share of dwarven women, and, well, there was that one halfling, but I didn't know it was a halfling. I kind of thought she was kind of stout for a halfling, so I thought she was a dwarf. But it doesn't matter. I've had my own problems with love and loss, and listen, you're not going to break my heart.
No, it's not that. It's where's that man? She says, and she looks for the man that had heckled her in the bar before.
Well, the individual who got into the little scruff is sitting at the other end of the tavern. He's got a big hunk of some kind of raw meat, maybe that the tavern owner gave to him, and he's got it over half the side of his face.
She picks up her violin. She says, "What did you say about him again? A pig?"
I didn't use that word alone, but yeah.
She begins to play her violin. She says,
"A snub-nosed pig who wouldn't know good music that bit him in the ass."
And she casts Vicious Mockery.
Oh boy. Okay. As you speak these words, it seems almost as if the air between your mouth and the rather pugnacious individual at the other end of the tavern ripples. And we see it hit this guy right in the eardrum. And it transmits, obviously, this awful pain to him. As he grasps his head, the hunk of meat falls to the floor and he just withers in his seat. God, what's going on?
Like that.
And Azor looks at you and says, well, I mean, we all have our defense mechanisms, I guess. What's that? Was that magic?
Yes, I can. When I play my violin, I can do things sometimes. I can hurt people. Sometimes I can help people. I'm learning to control it.
No, but listen to me for 1 second. First of all, well done, because he was a piece of shite.
Thank you.
And chances are he didn't even know it was you. He probably thought he just got a splitting headache from the rather sizable fist that slammed into his face. So, hey, nothing wrong with that, right? You do things to help yourself and your friends. That's everyone now, isn't it? Protecting people.
I guess it is. I didn't think about it that way before.
Listen, Lassie, you're not a bad person. Don't try to convince me that you are, because I just won't buy it.
Thank you, Azor, she says.
Now, enough of this. Let me get you another drink, because you've had too few and I've had too many, and we have to even the score a little bit.
All right, you can buy me one more drink, she says.
I think that means one more right now.
And he jumps off the stool and saunters off to the bar. Time shifts then, and multiple nights pass where you and Azor are in each other's company, whether you be walking through the streets of the lower city, sitting on the dock near ships coming in along the Chianthar River, watching a variety of beautiful pastel colors in the sky. We also see that you are playing to the benefit of everyone. And your playing is beautiful, and it's sad, and it's wonderful, and it's hilarious, and your talent grows. And every day that you spend with Azor is a day that you feel stronger and more sure of yourself. And then we see you sitting alone in the Blade and Stars. And we see your face, Ofelia. And it is not the face that we have been privy to before. It is a face that is grief-stricken and tortured. Sunken eyes, pale skin, bedraggled hair. Your violin is on the table, and I want you to tell us what it is that you feel has happened that has caused you to get to this place.
Azor's disappeared. I haven't seen him for weeks. I've been asking around. No one seems to know where he's gone, and it's not like him to just leave, not to check in with me or others in the area. I'm missing him. I'm scared for him. I've heard reports of other people in the lower city disappearing recently, and I am afraid that the same thing has happened to him.
And then we see a street, a dark street at night. The cobblestones are slick with water and runoff from the houses around it. And Ofelia, you are walking along these streets alone. There are no citizens in sight. And you have in your right hand a rapier, and in your left hand you carry a lantern, which you're using to guide your way. Even though you have dark vision, it is best to keep light on at this time of night to make sure that you can see and can be seen as well as possible until it's time to douse that light and move as quietly as you can. What have you just been told as to Azor?
My worst fears have been confirmed. He was taken like the others. I've been told by someone named Dr. Thinster. I've seen this man around. He has evil in his eyes. Everyone he's taken, no one knows what's happened to them. There's never been a trace of them. But from the chatter on the streets, everyone believes he kills them. Somehow he experiments on them, and there's no hope left that Azor is alive.
Hulk Finster is a well-respected member of the community. He's a doctor, actually. How is it that you find that rumors have come to your ears about this individual, quote-unquote, experimenting with other people taken off the street? Is this something you've heard, or how have you confirmed this?
It's only other people on the street saying it. Of course, you know, in the larger parts of the city and the upper crust, they're not saying this. He remains a well-respected member of the community, but the populations of beggars on the street who Ofelia passes, who she's been asking about Azor, some people at the Church of Ilmater have been saying it as well, that he's been taking people.
I've been making some inquiries, asking some questions, and there's this priest of Ilmater. He does some volunteer work at Cliffgate Hospital. He says he saw something. Might be connected to your missing friend, Azor, and a lot of other people that have gone missing. He took me aside when I visited Cliffgate last night, and there's a doctor, Dr. Hulk Finster. He's up to something horrible, Ofelia, and the Flaming Fist is never going to put a stop to it. He's too powerful and too well connected. I don't think there's any hope you're ever going to see Azor alive again, but we've got to stop Dr. Finster from doing this to any other people.
You're right, Ren. I wouldn't want anyone else to be hurt this way.
Listen, I do this myself, but I'm in and out of there every week. They all know my face, and besides, you take one look at me and you know I'm trouble. This priest who came forward and told me about it, I told him he didn't have to do anything else. Just speaking the truth was enough about what he saw. So, I'd like to put you in there. They don't know you. You're a good talker. You don't look like you'd hurt anyone. I think I can get you in the room with this doctor, and then you got to do what needs to be done.
I'll do it.
You gotta make it look like an accident, you understand?
I understand.
I've got a friend who can help us get rid of the body.
Okay.
She knows somebody who can help. Tomorrow night, we'll all meet up at that tavern afterwards. You know the one, in the lower city, not far from Basilisk Gate.
I know the one.
Come see me before you go over there tomorrow night. I put one hand on her shoulder, and I say, it's up to you, Ofelia, but we're all in it together.
I understand.
I won't let anything happen to you.
I trust you.
Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow night.
See you tomorrow.
And then we see Ofelia again in the street with her lantern, unhooded, looking around, waiting, hoping not to be ambushed by foes. Heapside is dangerous at this time of night, oftentimes. But here is the place that she was told to meet with Renascence, Cliffgate Hospital. Ofelia, in your dark vision, you are able to see, just peeking around the corner, two yellow eyes peering out from a dark doorway, but obviously in your dark vision you see very clearly that it is Renascence. He's wearing his armor, seems ready to go.
3rd floor, big stained glass window with light behind it.
That's the room?
Operating theater. Yeah, that's it. That's where you're going.
Okay, I'm ready.
Leave your rapier with me. You won't need it.
I know. Make it look like an accident.
Yeah, use your voice.
I will.
I'll be right here. I'm watching the window. I'm not going to leave till you come out.
Okay. See you soon.
Good luck.
What exactly happened in that room? We will leave that for another time. Let's now switch to Corbin.
Uh-oh.
Tell us what it is that Corbin does as soon as he steps away from the other three.
So he hefts that big chest of copper and silver onto his shoulder, and he's a bugbear, so he puts it under one arm and carries it. And then he casually, as he can, looks back to make sure no one is following him, and he strolls off down the street.
Okay. Make a perception check.
8.
Okay, as far as you're aware, no one is following you.
All right, once he gets a little ways away, he turns a corner real quick, and then he checks his pouch to see if that coin that he got, if it was a real thing, if it was a dream, what is it? Is it real?
It is. It is tangible. It is material. It is physical. It is heavy. Heavier than you thought a piece of metal of that shape and size could be. And it's very strange. It doesn't seem, based on the way it reflects the light, it doesn't seem to be made out of copper, iron, any kind of metal that you have ever seen. Not even steel. It's smoother than pitted steel, even though you see that it seems to have been machined. The edges are very precise, and it has this sort of crenellated edge around it, like a gear.
Oh, shit. Here I go again. He stuffs it into a pouch, and then he reaches into that chest and grabs a fistful of coppers, and he puts the coppers on top of it to try to bury it a little bit.
Well, the coin itself is pretty big. It's about the size of your, well, I mean, you have a bugbear hand, so it's bigger than most people's hands, but I mean, it fits pretty much right in the center of your palm. It's about 5 inches wide.
Oh, so he's going to try to hide it as best he can under coppers, which nobody seems to care about very much. And then he'll proceed on, and he's going to look for the first place where he can buy himself some armor.
Okay.
And he's basically going to look for a breastplate, but he wants one that's maybe refurbished, crappy. He doesn't care if it's beat up. If it has any fancy things on it, he'll just ask the guy to knock them off. He just wants a plain old breastplate, and he gives over almost all his gold. And the 2 necklaces from the pirate, he gives those. And and he has a couple gems and a few other items. So he has just enough to purchase himself a breastplate.
Weren't those the 2 necklaces that you had said you wanted to use those for the church?
Yes, they are. And he holds them for a split second, thinks about it, but he hands them over as payment.
Okay. There are plenty of shops in the lower city that will take this kind of stuff. Fences obviously are various within the lower city, but there are also places that will purchase used goods and sell used goods as well. The really nice stuff is in the upper city, but in Eastway and in Brampton and in Heapside, you can still find a variety of shops that will take goods and give you a definitely discounted price, right? They're not going to give you full cost, but probably more than you would get if you were to just try to sell it on the street.
Okay. And then once he's got that, he'll put it on, make sure it's okay. And then he's going to head off to his whatever tiny little rectory that he lives in, because he doesn't live in the fancy temple that we were before. He'll go there to pray and donate and stuff, but he's going to head back to his little tiny rectory where he lives with the other church workers and so on and so forth.
Okay. This is in the Shrine of Suffering, though, correct?
Wherever you would put the lowest level priests and such, someone without any magical power who wants to work for the church, the lowlives of the church.
I gotcha, absolutely. The Shrine to Ilmater, which is, of course, the Shrine of Suffering, is a very well-known building in the lower city. It sees people day in and day out who are there to obviously pray, and the Shrine of Suffering is actually run by a halfling, and his name is Brother Hodges. He's a very devout member of the clergy, and he is also not only the head of the shrine, but he also runs the upper and lower priesthood of the shrine itself. So you've known him for many, many years.
All right, so Corbin will enter, and he will turn over that chest of silver and copper, and he'll throw a few gold pieces on top. He's also going to donate. He has a sword and that fist mace and that flail. The church needs weapons, I'm sure.
Sure, yeah.
And his old armor, he'll give that in, and he'll give all that stuff as like a donation to the church.
You go into his office with this enormous chest. You just sort of drop it on his desk. He's, oh, hello, bro. Oh, what is all this? Oh, flail. Whoa, mace. What is in this? And he opens the chest. My goodness, Brother Corbin.
A donation for the church, and I figure we could always use some weapons and armor and whatnot. I don't need it anymore.
May I ask where it is that you received this rather sizable treasure trove?
Oh, it's a bit of a long story. I'm not sure you really want to hear it. This stuff belongs to some bad people, and it doesn't anymore.
And he tries to smile, but it doesn't look good. It's like, oh.
Brother Hodges stares at you over his pince-nez glasses on the end of his rather sharp-looking nose, and he says,
Now, Brother Corbin, please do tell me that you have not sullied the reputation of our Lord and Savior, Ilmater, by stealing.
No, I don't. I haven't stolen anything in what, 10 years or something. So no stealing. It was some cultists, and they attacked us. So they're not around anymore. And this was theirs, but now it's ours, right? Is that right? I think that's right, right?
Brother Hodges, as you're speaking these words, his mouth slowly opens and his eyes go a little wide. And he says,
I have so many questions from what you have just told me. Brother Corbin, first of all, cultists?
Yeah, not anymore. They're dead. Sorry.
Oh, I see. Dead cultists now.
Right.
Not sure if that makes it any better in my mind.
Am I in trouble? Shit. I'm sorry.
Brother Painbearer, I believe the information that has been levied to me is quite enough for now. Please, you may retire. I would like you to please check in with Sister Painbearer Averly Hallow. I believe you are well acquainted with her.
All right. Can I go to my cell first and then get presentable, because I'm kind of a mess?
Yes, please. Do clean yourself up. That would be wonderful.
All right. Thank you.
Corbin does a terrible bow. He tries, but he's awful. And he quickly leaves. He goes down into the lowest level into a little tiny door that has like a little window on it. And he opens it up and he goes in there, and it's almost looks like a jail cell. And he shuts the door behind him, and he throws out his old vestments, because I'm sure they're destroyed at this point, and grabs a new set. And he strips down to his small clothes. His body is covered in scars along his back and his arms and whatnot. He goes to the middle of the room and he starts saying a little prayer, and he glances at the door because he's worried that Avery's going to come in any second. Instead of going to her, he reaches over to his little rock outcropping that he sleeps on, and there's a little pillow on there that's sort of made out of a sack and some hay stuffed inside, and he pulls it over and he lays down on the floor and he goes to sleep. And he's obviously terrified, looking at the door like a little kid who knows they're in trouble and just doesn't want to face what he has to face.
you hear a soft rapping on your door.
Of course.
He gets up on his knees. Come on, come in. And he looks down at the ground.
The doorknob turns and the door opens. And there, standing in front of you, is a woman. She has pale skin, bright, pupilless blue eyes, and a bald head, almost ovoid-shaped head, egg-like. You recognize her as Sister Painbearer Everly Hollow, and she steps into the room gently and says, "Hello, brother. I hope I haven't disturbed your nap."
Oh, no, it's all right. Hello. Hello, sister. I've returned.
Yes, you have, haven't you?
It's done, by the way. It's done.
It is done?
Yeah. The doctor, he's dead.
Oh, well, isn't that wonderful news? She closes the door behind her and then listens quickly at the door to make sure that no one is listening to your conversation, and then sits gently down on the bed next to you and says, "Now, Brother Corbin, you and I have known each other for many years. You trust me. I trust you."
Of course. You saved my life.
I guess I did.
You and Ilmata.
Of course, Ilmater, of course. And she puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "I hope you understand, Brother Corbin, that your place here in the church is a very important one. You have done much to bring yourself out of the squalor and turmoil of your past. And I want to make sure that you understand that this act does not put you ill in the eyes of Ilmater. You have done what few people could do. You have brought peace and justice where there was none. And I want you to know that this should not make you feel anxious."
Oh, well, do you want to hear the good news or the bad news?
She sort of looks at you strangely and says, "Oh, there's good news and bad news."
Yeah, he's dead. It's good news, right? Because he's a bad person. The bad news, well, there's more good news that the church isn't implicated in anything. There's no connection because, I didn't actually kill him, but he's dead.
I think that was what we had discussed. You said that you'd find a way that would not implicate the church.
Right. And I did that, so it's good, right?
Why do I feel you're holding something back from me, Brother Painbearer Corbin?
You know that devil blood paladin I told you about, the one who, he always says, "Trust me, I'm a paladin," that guy? Well, I told him about, the doctor, and I told him that, since his brother was there, his brother might not be safe, and he took the bait. So that's good, right?
Yes. She looks at you and her blue eyes burn into yours. You have many, many encounters in your past with individuals who have been violent and hostile towards you. And yet, the feeling of this individual's eyes on yours gives you a feeling of anxiety that you have rarely felt and don't wish to feel. You feel like judgment is being passed.
Corbin cowers down as low once again for this big giant bugbear.
So, I didn't know he'd get other people involved. So someone else might know about it. But I think that loose end's tied up, so I think it's good. All right?
What do you mean by you think that loose end is tied up? You're speaking in circles, Corbin. I'd like a little bit more of a straightforward approach.
Well, I think he chickened out, he was afraid. And he got someone else to kill the doctor, but it didn't quite go exactly as planned. But then, the body had to go somewhere, and then
she sighs heavily and puts her
hand to her face. It got a little complicated. I'm sorry.
Corbin, please. You're going in many directions at once. Please, calm down. Make a wisdom saving throw, please.
17.
You feel like, just from that uttering of that phrase, calm down, a force that pushes its way into your mind and you're very, very intuitive when it comes to this kind of stuff, obviously, because you have your own magical abilities. You feel like you're in some way being commanded to reveal yourself in perhaps a more calm nature. But you are able to shake it off as you recognize that this is coming from the individual sitting next to you on the bed.
All right. So maybe I should ask you plain, how much detail do you want to know? Because if you don't know stuff, then, you don't have to reveal stuff, if someone else asks you, let's say.
You're right. You're right, Corbin. Of course, the information that you have that I don't have certainly puts you at an advantage, however, an advantage which I don't particularly like. Because if I'm not in the know with regards to this individual's demise, then how am I to know that you might not turn that information to other people?
I would never do that. Not to the church, not to Ilmota, and not to you. I would never do that. Never. You know that.
Corbin?
I would have been dead 10 years ago if it wasn't for you. So,
I know that, Corbin. I know that. But I don't know about these other people that you got involved. Of course, you said this individual, Renascence, you call him the Devil Man, this paladin.
Devil blood, he's got horns and stuff.
Yes, of course, we all have our own lineages to deal with.
Right.
But now you're telling me there's a third person involved?
Yeah. There's, this, sneak thief. She, had to get rid of the body,
A thief.
Yeah, but she's really nice. I think she's got angel blood. I think. I've seen her touch people and heal them, so.
That's very nice to hear. I, myself, come from that particular stock.
I know.
But that doesn't necessarily make her a good person. Being good or evil is not who you are, after all, Corbin. It is what you do. And she puts her hand on your shoulder. Don't we agree?
I totally agree.
So, Corbin, let's come down to it. There are now 3 people that seem to be aware of this particular plot against this malefactor, Dr. Thinster.
Right.
And that could, in the wrong hands, that information could come back to me.
No, how could it? No one knows about you. I never said your name or spoke about the church or any of it.
I understand, Corbin. But now, this paladin and now this sneak thief who are aligned with you, that could, in the wrong hands, let's say the Flaming Fist became involved in this particular individual's demise. Well, they could trace that back to me eventually through you.
What do you want me to do?
Now we're talking, Corbin. And she smiles at you. And I think we're going to leave the rest of that conversation till another time.
That was terrifying. She's so scary.
So scary.
Thanks for listening. This episode featured the Dungeon Master stylings of Matt Gordon, with Andy Cannistra as Painbearer Corbin Shiv, Carolyn Fox as Hylan, Rachel Tamarin as Ofelia, and me, Tal Aviezer, as Renascence. This episode was edited by Carolyn Fox and me. Our original theme music is by Lauren Anker and Anthony DiMasso. Some sound effects in this episode are courtesy of Syrinscape. Remember, if you enjoy Podcast Party Descent into Avernus, please follow the show, rate us, and leave us a review. Thanks very much for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks with the next episode.
No recording.
Okay. It's also, I may have done 4 claps. I'm not certain.
I think you did.
I got
I
thrown
definitely
out
heard
by
4
everybody
claps.
else. I was
I
like,
didn't
wait,
wanna
how
say
many
it.
did I do?
I didn't want to be that guy who's like, who clapped 4 times?
You panicked.
Son of a bitch.
Okay, now Craig is on, so we're gonna clap again on the count of 3. It's gonna be, as it always is, 1, 2, 3, clap, clap, clap.
Clap, clap,
Okay. So ready? 1, 2, 3. Close enough. All right. We're great.